Hey guys, how you doing? I am going live on both parts, but I'm having an issue with my Facebook Live. So give me 1 second. Let me get it going over here. Okay, there we go. I am on both Facebook and YouTube, and here we go. We're asking questions, Q&A on what's going on with physical abuse. So physical abuse, as it pertains to abuse, we already talked about a lot of, anxiety disorder. We talked about narcissism. We talked about a lot of issues as it pertains to a lot of difficult disorders, different disorders, and stuff. So we're going to wait till a couple of people come on in, and then we're going to talk about different issues. So we're going to actually go ahead and wait, and then we're going to start a Q&A about physical abuse and a couple of questions as pertaining to physical abuse. Okay, guys? Our issue with physical abuse is a lot of times when we get physically abused, people think and we get into this manifestation in which, we get physically abused, and like the butterfly effect was showing, and I posted that thing on our last Facebook with the domestic violence awareness. I posted that that link, and I posted that illustration about that we will get abused by our abuser, and our abuser will change. They'll say, we'll get into a cycle from our abuser, and our abuser will show a different side of themselves. You know what I mean? And so we don't want to keep showing a, let me go into the butterfly. Let me go into this butterfly effect, and then we'll talk about that. They will show a different side of themselves because they want to not manifest signs of abuse. They want to keep themselves on that same cycle, of abuse, but they'll be into like this honeymoon effect. And so what we want to do is we want to get out of that cycle of effect. And unfortunately, some of these abusers are very narcissistic, sociopath. They will start off by giving us nice words, being very visually effective. They will be very, when they do abuse us, they will give us intrusive words, and then give me one moment, guys. They will give us very healthy words at first, but then what happens is afterwards they will play mind games with us. You know what I mean? And what we're trying to do is get out of that unhealthy relationship that is not healthy for us, which is just a very, unhealthy cycle. And let me look for it really quickly, guys. So the malignancy of it is that they'll keep us in that same cycle where it'll be like, first they're angry, they're manipulated, they'll get upset, they'll, be grudging, then they'll hit us, we'll back away, we'll, relent, we'll get into this manifestation of depression and anxiety. They'll feel like it, and then we'll feel like we're about to leave, and then they'll want to change their disorder, or they'll want to change themselves, and then they'll come to us and say, well, I promise I'm going to change. I promise I'm going to go seek help. And what'll happen is that the victim or the abuser will start, to apologize or promise that he will no longer do it. He'll start justifying his behavior. He will blame it on the alcohol or the drugs. He will blame it on his work habit, or he'll blame it on his issues of inability to hold his restraint. He will blame it on the kids. He will blame it on issues of his parents or his past, things like that. And those are all tension builders that he has had before, but those are acute explosion builders. But an abuser should not have to ever have to lift his hands, or regardless, it doesn't have to be physical. It could have been emotional or mental. And then from that, it will migrate into a honeymoon effect in which the victim will start to tell you, oh, well, I promise I'm going to go to counseling with you. I promise that I will proceed into some kind of agreement with you where I will no longer put my hands on you, or no longer be angry with you, or I promise that I will no longer do this to you, and we'll proceed to keep asking for forgiveness. And it will put you in a hopeless state where he will, be very nice to you all the time, where he will be, be relieving of you, will be happy with you, things like that. And an abuser will consistently apologize, promise things, will bring you flowers. And even if you leave your abuser, he will consistently do that too. He'll put you in a honeymoon state. That's the issue, is be very careful that when you are in a honeymoon state with an abuser, you can fall back into a tension builder. So being in a tension building, a victim can fall back into a tension building state where things can re-rise, and where you can feel the tension between the abuser and the victim, and where if you don't answer his calls, where you don't answer his mail, where you don't find him, or where you don't come to him, or things like that. Even when you're not with your abuser, it can get very malignant and angry. So you got to be very careful, guys. You know what I mean? And that's a very tricky subject. But you want to ensure that when you are dealing with your abuser and things like this do happen, guys, that you are making sure that you're doing everything possible to ensure that you are dealing with violence and physical abuse in a very healthy and promotive way for your family and for yourself. Tension builders can be very aggressive, and so you want to ensure that you are separating yourself and separating your abuser, and not putting yourself in the same cycle. And then if your abuser is wanting to seek help, he will have to seek his own self by himself. Not that you seek the help, but that he goes and seeks the help by himself. So you have to separate yourself from the ability for help. Nobody wants to separate families, of course. I don't want to see families separated. But if the abuser wants to seek help, he has to want help. You understand what I mean? So if he really wants this help, guys, he's going to want to seek that help. You know what I mean? And that's the important part of it all, is that your abuser seeks that help, seeks the information on his own. That's the important part. So physical abuse is very and it's not just physical abuse, guys. It could be mental abuse, it could be verbal abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, spiritual abuse. These are all mandated into the same cycle. And your abuser can keep manipulating you and keep utilizing that same cycle of abuse unless your abuser decides to gain help or do something about it and really go and gain help on his own or do something so that he can better himself, because if not, it's going to keep getting worse, and you got to get strong and you got to say, hey, you know what, this is going to end. You got to do something, so setting guidelines for getting guidelines for abuse. So that's something about abuse. Now, I don't know if Facebook Live is having, I'm having issues for Facebook. Sorry, guys. I've been having issues with Facebook Live lately. I don't know if that's because my phone is kind of dying a little bit or not. So that's the issue with physical abuse. Now, if you guys have any questions and if you guys are dealing with issues of physical abuse and you are needing to go and gain help, make sure that you call the hotline. It's 1-800-799-SAFE. Please do not leave your situation abruptly and just go somewhere. That is not what we want you to do. But you need to go and you need to make a plan of action. Don't just leave and go get help just don't leave your home and just go. Please just make a plan of action and find a way to get, to go somewhere to make a plan of action, call the abuse hotline, and find a way to make a plan so that you can leave your abuser in a safe way. Because some of you have kids and you don't want to put your kids in a, you don't want to put your kids in danger, and definitely you don't want to put yourself in danger. So call the 1-800 number to get a plan of action. So it's 1-800-799-SAFE. So you definitely want to put that into perspective. The other one that we definitely want you to call is the crime hotline. If you know that there's a crime being committed, whether it's molestation of your children, whether you've been raped, please call the Crime Victims Hotline. Call 1-866-689-HELP. I'm going to post both of those numbers both on Facebook, on YouTube, and on YouTube and on Facebook. So it'll be on both lines. That way you guys can have those numbers. It is 1-866-689-HELP. That's 1-866-689-4357. If you feel like you have had issues with rape or your children being molested, you don't know where to go, you don't know who to talk to, you don't know, what to do about that, you can always call 911, of course, and 911 will help you. Your local police officers can help. But if you've had too many issues with police officers and, it's still not being dealt with, please call your Crime Victims Hotline, and they can guide you on the best course of recall. Just FYI for YouTube, I did post a couple of videos interviewing Miss America 2019. She is Harvard Law. And she talked about a lot of the judicial system. You guys also know it as well over here on Facebook. We talked about a lot of the issues about, harassment and stalking and how it pertains to domestic violence, harassment, and stalking. And just to refresh, guys, do not forget to please sign the petition for the domestic violence walk and rally. There's going to still be that domestic violence rally. We definitely want as many people to sign that rally, that domestic violence and that rally petition. Is going to be October 1st. It's going to be in Washington, D.C. We're tossing it around. I will put the link over in YouTube. That way people can sign it. We want as many people there and dressed in purple, guys. And so we're gonna put that around. We want people there, and I will post a link on here, and that way we can get people involved. The way that we can stop this is be a voice for the voiceless. Yesterday I was watching a video from Don Estes, whose niece was Tina Stewart. She passed away due to domestic violence, and you have a law called Tina Stewart Law, HR, I think it's HR 2195. And you guys need to go ahead and read that. On May 20th, he wants us to call all of our lawmakers on the 20th, May 20th. He wants us to like flood the phone lines about Tina's law. If you guys get an opportunity and you are able to call your lawmakers about Tina's law, it is HR 2195. Please read it. I read it last night. I read a small bit of it, and it's amazing. It's to put our offenders, if they've had 2 or more offenses of domestic violence, they will be put on an offenders kind of list. The same thing as somebody who's committed a sex offense. So it's going to be like an abuser's offense. So if you guys can just go ahead and read that way you can get an idea of what it is. But please read it. It's called Tina's Law. Tina Stewart, she passed away. And his name is Don Estes. If you can look him up on Facebook. I'm hoping that I will be able and have an opportunity to talk to him. That way you guys can get a chance to know more about him. And Don, if you're listening to this, I definitely would like to talk to you soon. So I will get in contact with you guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Today is Saturday and I kind of want to rest. So, all right, guys. Well, I will talk to you soon. Thank you, YouTube. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you, Facebook. I will talk to you guys later too. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your families. Remember, like always, I say, you are beautiful. You are lovely. God made you gorgeous. And don't ever let anybody tell you different. Okay. I'll talk to you guys later. All right. Bye.